All right, so we're taking a deep dive today looking at acupressure for frontal sinus relief, something I know a lot of you have been asking for. So here we go.
Definitely a popular one.
Right. And we're not just going to stick with the where to press stuff. We're going to get into the why, the traditional Chinese medicine, the TCM behind it all. Because I don't know about you, but just knowing where to poke myself isn't as satisfying as really getting what's going on.
It's like the difference between having a map and understanding the lay of the land.
Perfect analogy. And speaking of maps, our source material for this deep dive starts off, painting that familiar picture.
Yeah.
That pressure in your forehead, that pain, that feeling like your head's going to explode.
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah. But here's where TCM takes a detour from the usual inflammation explanation we're used to. They go deeper into this idea of lung qi. Essentially, it's about energy flow, or blockage of it in this case. And that's where, honestly, I start to get a little fuzzy. So I'm really glad we've got our expert here to break down what qi actually means in a way that, makes sense for those of us who aren't TCM masters.
Right. Think of it this way. Qi is like your body's internal river system. When it's flowing, everything's good, you're healthy, but get a dam in that river. That's when things get backed up, stagnant, sinus issues, other stuff starts cropping up.
Okay, I love that analogy. So our qi gets out of whack. What's causing the blockage in the first place? Our source mentions this wind cold idea, which honestly sounds a bit like something out of a fantasy novel to me.
It does, doesn't it? But wind cold in TCM isn't about a literal draft. It's more like any external thing that throws your system off balance. Think of it like this. You get a sore throat, it's hot, scratchy. That's what TCM calls wind heat, another type of imbalance. It's about those external triggers and how they impact us.
So, like when you get a cold, you just can't shake, and you think back, maybe I shouldn't have gone for that run in the freezing rain.
Exactly. Connecting the dots between environment, choices, how we react.
This is already making me rethink my last few colds. But let's get to the good stuff, those acupressure points. Our source goes into detail here, so I'm ready to map this out. First up, LU7 leak. It's on your wrist. About 1.5 inches above your wrist crease, thumb side. You'll feel a little dip below the base of your thumb.
And LU7's not just for sinus stuff. It's like a respiratory system reset. Headaches, coughs, that stuffy head feeling. It's a good one to know.
Handy. All right, next. Straight to the source of childhood comfort thumb sucking. LU11, also called Shaosheng, it's right on your thumb, beside the corner of your thumbnail.
Especially good when you feel a cold coming on strong. TCM uses it for wind heat, sore throat, fever, the whole I'm getting sick package.
So if you feel that tickle in your throat, on it goes. Okay, point number 3. This one you've probably pressed instinctively before Li4, Hegu. Back of your hand, that fleshy bit between your thumb and index finger. Highest point of the muscle there. Go ahead, give it a squeeze. Feels good, right?
Li4 is a powerhouse. Headaches, stuffy nose, even eye problems. It's a multitasker.
Seriously, we should hand out acupressure maps with these deep dives.
Okay.
Okay, moving down for the head. GB38, or Yangfu, on your lower leg, about 4 finger widths above your outer ankle bone, a bit towards the front.
Now, GB38 is where things get interesting. This point isn't just about sinus pressure. It's believed to be connected to the sinews, the bones. TCM practitioners use it for migraines, too, especially those tied to liver key stagnation.
Liver key stagnation. Okay, that sounds like a whole other deep dive waiting to happen.
It is. But basically, TCM sees these things, sinus pressure, headaches, migraines, as interconnected. It's all about the energy flow in the body.
Right, like a giant puzzle. Okay, next point. Back up to the face. BL2, Sanzu. Right at the inner edge of your eyebrow, where it meets the bridge of your nose.
PL2, your go-to for the whole sinus and eye region. Sinus pain, headaches behind the eyes, even eye strain.
So much pressure in such a small area.
Uh-huh.
All right, last acupressure point for this deep dive. And don't worry, there are only 7, not a million, BL8, or Lue, top of your head. Imagine a line from the tippy top of your head down to your nose bridge. BL8 is on that line about 5.5 finger widths above your hairline. You'll find it.
It's often used to relieve tension in the head, which obviously can tie into sinus pressure, like a release valve.
Hitting the reset button. When I first started with acupressure, all these points, I felt like I was just poking randomly.
They can feel that way at first.
But it gets easier. The more you work with them, the more you find them.
Absolutely. Be curious. Be gentle. You're not trying to dig a hole in yourself, just a little pressure. Now for the final thought. The thing to ponder as you go forth and experiment with all this. If something as everyday as a sinus issue can be looked at through this lens, energy, connections, the whole body, what else could this apply to? What other potential is there for your well-being if you keep digging into this stuff?
Makes you think, TCM just has this way of shifting your whole perspective.
Yeah.
It's not about isolating a problem, it's about the bigger picture. Mind, body, even the environment,
Yeah.
all connected.
It's like they were onto something centuries ago that we're only now catching up with our fancy science. And what I love, acupressure is so simple. It's literally right there at your fingertips. No need for some big expensive machine or anything.
Right, that's the beauty of it. And that's what I'm hoping you take away from this more than anything, that sense of, I don't know, empowerment. You can actually have an impact on how you feel.
Taking control, right? Exactly. These points, this understanding of how Ki works, it's like you're learning a new language, the language your body already speaks.
Your own inner healing language.
There you go.
Hmm.
And like any language, the more you use it, the more fluent you get. So if this has sparked something for you, don't stop here.
Keep the exploration going. Play with those acupressure points. See what you notice. And hey, if you're feeling really adventurous, maybe even look into that tendinomuscular therapy we talked about. Could be a whole other level of discovery there. Until next time.